It's called Maplewood because they are known for their maple trees, and
Really?
they produce a lot of our maple syrup.
You know why they call them 7-Eleven?
Why?
Because they used to be open from 7 to 11.
Oh,
but now they're open 24/7.
They need to call it what? 24/7.
Well, 7-Eleven still kind of works for them. Although, you know what's
The name
interesting
stuck.
about a convenience store that's open 24 hours a day? Why do they have locks on the doors?
Oh, do they? I guess
Sure.
after a certain time, you have to.
If they're always open.
Right.
24 hours a day.
Maybe it's because crime has gone up and they need to see who's coming in. And then they buzz you in if they feel
Great
safe.
question.
I don't know.
Go get a Slurpee.
No.
We're
But they
gonna have some
don't all
Slurpees
sell
this morning.
gas anymore. You walk in, you can get anything you want. You can get medicine, you can get biscuits, you can get pizza.
Massage.
Maybe in the back or something. I don't know.
Tell us about your 7-Eleven.
Well, I can't. I just don't have time. We're up against.
No, we got 2 hours.
No, I don't. Chris has wrapped me. Yeah.
You can get diapers for your baby.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, welcome to the Monday show. Ainsley, great to have you back.
Thank you. So good to be back.
All right. In the meantime, let's talk about the news of the day. President Biden is encouraging pro-abortion activists to continue to protest the overturning of Roe v. Wade, which sent it back to the states, saying he is also considering declaring a public health emergency.
And then he went back to sleep. And as Supreme Court justices face continued harassment, one member of the administration defends protesters who chased Justice Kavanaugh out of a Morton's restaurant.
And Mark Meredith joins us live with more. Mark, they can't even go to dinner with their family now.
Ainsley, that's what some protesters want to see. They want to see more of these Supreme Court justices confronted in the streets of D.C. or wherever they may be around the country. Good morning to all three of you. President Biden is under intense pressure from members of his own party to resecure women's access to abortion. But now he says lawmakers need to feel the same pressure. He says he's glad to be seeing protests happening in cities coast to coast.
Keep protesting because keep making your point. It's critically important. We can do a lot of things to accommodate the rights of women in the meantime, but fundamentally, the only thing that's going to change this is if we have a national law.
But critics say there's also a chance protests can get out of hand. Last week, Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh had to leave a D.C. steakhouse through a back door. That's because protesters figured out where he was eating. Then get this, the group Shut Down D.C. is even offering people cold hard cash to report where they see justices dining out. The White House says it supports peaceful protests only, but now administration officials are facing repeated questions about what they deem as peaceful.
I can't even tell you the number of spaces, venues, and scenarios where I've been protested. And the bottom line is this. Any public figure should always be free from violence, intimidation, and harassment, but should never be free from criticism or people exercising their First Amendment rights.
Outgoing Communications Director Kate Bedingfield also appears to have sparked some drama with her views on the president's response to the abortion ruling. She spoke with the Washington Post for a piece that ran over the weekend in which she said, quote, Joe Biden's goals in responding to Dobbs is not to satisfy some activists who have been consistently out of step with the mainstream of the Democratic Party. Those words, the some activists, really seem to have created some backlash here because you have some Biden supporters that feel the president hasn't acted fast enough when it comes to reacting to this latest Supreme Court decision impacting abortion nationwide. The president says, speaking of abortion, he's still considering whether or not he would declare a public health emergency, which may allow them to kind of circumvent some of these state laws that have gone into effect. But the president says no final decision made. And we've even seen some pro-choice activists propose interesting ideas, which would even include basically a ship off of federal waters that would allow them to offer abortion access outside of states that have banned it. So basically, you'd get on a ship, go to offshore in order to have an abortion. But it's just one of those ideas that's floating around. Either way, though, this issue not stopping anytime soon. Steve, Ainsley, Brian, back to you guys.
Literally floating around.
Right.
Hey, Mark, before you go, yesterday we saw the president in Rehoboth. He was wearing the bike helmet. He rode up on his bike. People were holding their breath that he's going to fall over again. But he took the toe clips off, right?
You know, the president still likes to get out there on those beach trips every chance he can. Whenever it's kind of a normal thing whenever he goes out to the beach to try to get out there, get on the bike, and even traditionally does go to speak to reporters when he's out there. But he made it back. We're going to hear from him a few different times today, and looks like he seemed like he was fine on the bike yesterday, but it's a new day. We'll see what today brings.
They took the toe clips off. But apparently one of the members of his Secret Service detail did fall over, which, and I think the president said, oh, wasn't me, something like that. And there he goes.
Yeah, he said Thank you so much, Mark. He said, keep protesting, make your point. This is critically important. There were 1,000 protesters that marched to the White House on Saturday over the weekend asking Biden to do more. But when you talk about this health emergency that he could possibly impose, he's saying, I don't know if it's legal, I don't know if it would be effective, and it would certainly face legal challenges because when the Supreme Court says something, each state has to abide by that. They say that his director of White House Gender Policy Council says that they haven't taken action yet because there's very little money to dole out. There are only tens of thousands of dollars, and says it's not a great option.
So the thing is, when just to back on the protesters for a second, if the protesting outside the White House, totally different than protesting inside someone's residence. The White House has security wherever he goes. There's security, everything's cleared and bomb swept and everything. This guy, Justice Kavanaugh, goes to a Morton's restaurant, and now he finds out protesters are there, and they let him through the kitchen. And Morton's puts out a statement condemning the protesters. People want to go out to dinner at night.
Because it wrecked everybody else's dinner.
And they put a statement. And Morton's gets blitzed now by people calling in phony reservations. They're protesting Morton's for defending one of their customers who has to be a Supreme Court justice. Keep in mind, this stuff the Democrats fail to see around the bend. Do you think Justice Kavanaugh is the only public servant that's going to be protested? How would they feel if Jen Psaki's house, Karine Jean-Pierre, Pete Buttigieg, all of a sudden, don't you think Republicans have people that are upset too with the fact that maybe planes don't fly anymore on time and no, they don't land on time and they're canceled out of the blue? Maybe they want to sit there and show up outside the Secretary of Transportation's home, and maybe there's going to be security requested there, which has not really yet arrived for the Supreme Court justice. Do they understand that the President of the United States could set a tone, said everybody has a right to go out to eat, everybody has a right to bring their kids to a park, and to show up and protest there as a human being? That is not okay. No one is going to go into public service if they do anything that might be deemed controversial or different than you think, if they're going to be harassed and destroyed when they take the gown off.
I agree with you.
And they go home.
I agree with you. They're harassing them in front of their homes.
Just
their children are inside. They're going to restaurants, possibly with their children, and then they're being harassed. They're having to leave early. And how does this affect the restaurant industry? Why is it Morton's fault? Now they're calling in with these fake reservations for Morton's, and then Morton's has bartenders and waiters, and they're trying to stay afloat. We just went through the pandemic. They were closed. They lost all this money for years. What about the chef? What about the people who were just trying to put food on their table, or the other people in the restaurant, or their neighbors who are just trying to live a normal life?
But then the protests are going to go crazy. You don't think Republicans and conservatives have activists? Now they're going to say, okay, the president said it's okay. We're going to see how you feel about it. It's not going to stop. No one is going to serve in public office anymore.
Well, you know, the White House was very clear with our correspondent